Hey guys, great Q&A today, I think. Lots of good stuff. So let's get into it. First question, dealing with mercury in fish. Yes, it is a real concern. Just as a general guideline, the larger the fish, the more mercury it will have. So things like swordfish, tuna, they're going to have way more mercury than your smaller fish like sardines and trout, things of that nature. And farm raising fish in general is also going to, in general, raise the mercury content of the fish as well. It is a real threat. Mercury poisoning is a real thing. And I don't know if you guys know your history here, but we used to use mercury for a few things. We used to believe it was the fountain of youth. I think it was one of the Chinese emperors he was looking for Shangri-La, and he was given small doses of mercury every day because they thought back then that it was like this magical substance. And if you've ever seen mercury, see how it behaves, see what it looks like, it does look like a magical substance. And you would think, well, yeah, Tom, that was a couple thousand years ago. We know so much better. But did you know that Abraham Lincoln was given mercury in order to cure his manic depression, which he suffered from his whole life? And that was only, 150 years ago, guys. And he, though, started to realize that the mercury was altering his psychology, and he stopped on his own. George Washington, on his deathbed, was given mercury. Although he would have probably died anyway of pneumonia, he died of mercury poisoning because that's what they were treating him with. So I'm just letting you guys know that mercury, although it's a real threat, has this crazy history in our quote-unquote medical history. This is how we tried to cure people. That's why we should always make sure we're doing our research, making sure we're not killing ourselves by accident and while we're trying to be healthy. So speaking of which, the next question has to do with rice and arsenic. And yes, arsenic is real in rice, and it does not matter if you're eating organic. However, brown rice will have more arsenic than white rice, probably about, I think it's in the, you can look this up, but I think it's in the magnitude of like twice as much, because when you're getting the hull of that brown rice. Now there's a give and a take here, guys, because in that hull is going to be your vitamins, like a lot of your B vitamins, your thiamine. And so if you remove that, by the way, there's a whole, actually, let me get this book real quick. Hang on. In this book right here, which I'm still hacking through, you see this whole book is on one topic, thiamine deficiency. Look how thick that book is, all right? I'm hacking my way through this book, and it's only on thiamine is vitamin B1. And one of the things that they talk about in here is how thiamine deficiency came about in societies, and a lot of it had to do with people eating the white rice instead of the brown rice, because it was the brown rice that had those vitamins in there. So you're removing the vitamins, but you're also removing the arsenic. So what's the point, guys? The point is that you should eat both. And I've made this statement before, just as a large umbrella term. Hear me out, guys. Listen carefully. I can take any food. Challenge me on this. Just text me a food, and I will make an argument about why it's bad for you. I will make a strong argument about why that food is killing you. Just text me any food. Guys, it is the overconsumption of food that is causing us disease. It is causing the problem. It is the general overconsumption of food. I talked about this way back in the first 40-day challenge. Hear me out. I'm telling you, the oxidative stress, the burden that you put on your on the food that you put on your body from the food you eat, because all food in its own way has these sort of toxic effect. And some foods work very, very specifically via a hormetic response, which means like exercise, Exercise gets you stronger, but if your leg is broken, you shouldn't be exercising. It's going to make you worse. There are some foods that work that way. They appear to be so great for you. Resveratrol, classic example. People supplement with resveratrol. It works via the hormetic response, and resveratrol is in a lot of red grapes, wine, things of this nature, and it could be making you worse. So the key here, guys, is moderation. Not always the same carb, right? Mix it up and you will mitigate those problems with arsenic. Next question came in regarding, I made this whole thing about autoimmune diseases in women yesterday, and can I back up my claims? Yes. So what I will do, guys, is I will attach a couple of videos that talk about exactly what I'm talking about. You guys have heard me say this many times, and I've linked much research in the past about the gut microbiome. And if we're not mixing with the bacteria out there and amongst each other and the viruses that we've evolved with over time, it has an effect on our gut microbiome. It has an effect on our immune system. And I predicted that women in their 20s, 30s, 40s, that you're going to see a lot more autoimmune diseases over the next year. For this reason, I said this way back in March. Why women? Because women are 75% of women have autoimmune disorders as opposed to 25% of men. And certain autoimmune disorders, it's even more. It's 80%, 85%. What are the reasons for that? There's theories. One of the strongest theories, it has to do with testosterone and estrogen. All right. So there's other reasons why that have to deal with the X and the Y chromosome. If you're interested in that information, I'll send a link for that as well. But it is a fact. And I'm making this prediction because it's not just the fact that we're over cleaning and over sanitizing and not interacting. It's the amount of stress, our ability to respond to stress. So I don't have to tell you guys that women, we know, are by design in their brain more emotional creatures. They're designed to be more responsive to stressors emotionally. That is by design evolutionarily. So when you map on, high stress, look what's going on with these kids. I told you, just look at social media. Watch there's a documentary on Netflix called The Social Dilemma. Watch that. Watch what's happening to kids. Your 14, 15, 16-year-old daughter, this is what's going on. And it gets worse, as they get into college and how they're interacting with each other. That's why I'm making that prediction. And to me, it's our responsibility as parents to actually understand this threat, actually understand it, get in front of it with our children so that they don't suffer the problems of lupus and all these other things that they are going to be, way more prone to. It's our duty. We're supposed to feed our kids and put a roof over their heads, but what about their health and being in front of the information, guys? That's what's paramount here. And the discussion hasn't been happening enough. This stuff should be in the news. This stuff you should be hearing all the time, and you just don't. I think there was one more question. What was it regarding? I don't remember, guys. But guys, keep the questions coming. If I love it, and this challenge revolves around you guys and answering your questions and what you need. And my promise to you is I'll over deliver. So you will see those videos come your way. Feel free to filter through the research yourself, and have a great rest of the day, everybody.